Firstly, thanks for your time. Really cool to see you playing in the Big Bash. Let's maybe talk about what encouraged you to play in this competition. Why did you want to play Big Bash?
It's one of the major leagues around the world that really supports women's cricket. So obviously to get a chance to, just be here and to play in this competition with some great people is obviously a huge opportunity. And, in the West Indies, we don't really have much of those. So to branch out a bit and to be here and to experience this is something really cool.
Have you watched much of the competition from afar in previous years?
Yeah, I have, because obviously, we've had a few girls in this competition before. So, I've watched a few last year, especially, it was really good. And obviously the club I'm representing this year, came really close to winning it. So, it's just about really helping the group as much as I can, and hopefully we can go one step further this year.
You're an athlete of many sports. Let's talk about growing up. So from what I've read, track and field was a real passion of yours.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us about your sporting journey from the start to where you are now.
Growing up, I think we, as children back home, we have a lot of backyard stuff. We have a lot of freedom to do stuff. Especially also in primary school, we have a lot of competitions where you play with boys, because we barely have girls back then who really wants to play sports. So it was really hard to have an all girls thing. Started track and field in basic school, actually, like very small. Gradually into primary school and then high school. I've been to a few competitions, won a few medals. And then, I was given the opportunity to actually, go to one of the best schools in Jamaica who actually does track. So that was really good on my part. And then also I used to play soccer. I was also given the opportunity to represent Jamaica in soccer. And then, cricket was not really on the agenda. It was just something like my dad used to go about, just enjoy playing on weekends. It was just really interesting, and I think it was just my curiosity, honestly. He would always yell at me, the ball, everything is hard about cricket. The ball, the bat, everything was hard. So a part of me just wanted to maybe it's not so hard like you're saying it. So, and then I got really intrigued and I started doing it. I started playing with the boys in primary school. It was just something fun to do. So it was like track and field, soccer and cricket. So it was all three. And then I can remember all of them kind of jam into one big thing, and I had to choose. At 13, I can remember there was this competition back home called the Mini League, and they just wanted girls to play with the boys just to expand the sports. And my coach was like, you could just come, it's something fun. And I can remember the boys was just bowling at me, because obviously I'm a girl, so they was just bowling soft and stuff, and I was just like, y'all could just do it. I'm literally not afraid. Y'all could just do it. And it turned out that I really had a good tournament in that little league. And then the national coach at the time saw me and he was like, I want you to come in for a trial for the cricket team. I remember representing West Indies as just age 18. And then, a really huge setback where I had a really bad injury. And then I was dropped from the team eventually. And then, it took me probably 3 or 4 years to really get back into playing. I was I wouldn't say really mad at myself, disappointed, I chose something that really didn't really want to choose me. And then I was just I went back to college, just forget about it, I don't want to play anymore. And then I can remember I was in college and I got a call. This was 2019 to be exact. I got a call and they said, I'm selected to be a part of the West Indies camp. And I'm just this doesn't make sense, because I wasn't really playing. It was just I was out, I was over it. Everything was just yeah. I got in, and then that was the year I made a promise to myself, if this is something that I'm going to do, then probably just suck it up and just do what's required.
So that call you got in 2019, would you describe that as almost a turning point to really take the game to your next level?
Yeah, I would think so, because at that point I wasn't really thinking about cricket, to be honest. It was more about school and just trying to do something else, because at that point I kind of turned down track. I forget about soccer, and then I was focusing on cricket. And then that 4-year gap was just something huge for me, struggling with injuries, hard to get back into a team. I was a bowler who couldn't bowl because of the back injury I suffered. So then I'm really, what's the purpose? Then I really started, maybe I could try batting. And then it really just kind of started working out. And then I think, like I said, I made that promise to myself in 2019 that this is something that I'm going to make a career out of, because I just refuse to think that playing sports is not something that I'm meant to do, regardless of what sport it is. And I'm like, I'm stuck with cricket, so might as well make the most of it. So yeah, I think 2019 really was kind of a wake-up call, like a turning point, like, you're actually good, so just suck it up and do what's right. So that's when I started getting like, proper training, started getting my body right, eating habits, stuff like that. And then, I actually got my first contract in 2019 for West Indies. So then I was like, yeah, this is really good. And then, things just started looking up after that. And the past 16 or 18 months have been really good to me. And I just wanted to embrace it, being a part of the women's IPL as a replacement player and actually doing, as well as I did. I just like beating odds, if I'm being honest, because obviously when I went there, a lot of people didn't actually expect to see to experience what they saw, and obviously that's also gave me an entry into this competition, because obviously the Heat saw something too and feel like I could bring something to this team. So like I said, it's just about going out there and enjoying it and don't change what I do. And once I do that, then I'm pretty sure I can contribute a lot to this team.
It's a really good sentiment, and obviously there's been some tough times back home recently. How cognizant are you of that, and how much are you trying to represent both Jamaica and the West Indies while you're over here?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the past week or 10 days has been really rough, especially in Jamaica with that massive hurricane, and it's really sad with what's happened to the country, and being here. That could be a good thing for the country, obviously representing Jamaica and obviously the West Indies. It was really hard when obviously I got here, and every time I picked up my phone, I would go on social media. It's just about the disaster. It still is, but it's not as bad as it was probably a week ago. So yeah, it's a really hard one to swallow when I got here, and training and stuff, and the girls would really try to be like, make it fun, just to clear the head and stuff. And obviously I've had friends and teammates who've lost a lot in the hurricane. So as I said, it's really sad times, and obviously not much I could do to help them than, a conversation there or whatever it might be, supporting them in whatever ways I can. But to be here and to actually, make something out of this, to be like, yeah, I'm from Jamaica. We just had, a major setback, but, I'm here to stand tall and represent my country, represent the region, and, just make Jamaica proud.
Coming into this tournament, you've talked a fair bit about, being able to be here and what that means to you. But I guess at this stage of your career, how much of it is winning against also being a role model and trying to inspire a next generation? Because I feel like from what you're saying, that's a really big part of why you still play the game, right? Is to really be a really good representation, not just of West Indies or Jamaica, but just for women's cricket in general.
Yeah, as I said, the women's game have grown tremendously, and obviously when I started, I really didn't have this much I would say cricket or whatever it might be to help grow my game, and to actually see where women's cricket is now, and I can be a part of that. Obviously anybody, it might be a female just walking up to me and be like, they want to play cricket. That really gives me just another drive to actually make them proud, just seeing me out there representing women in sports. And I've had a lot of those, been to a lot of schools, been to a lot of stuff, just inspiring young girls and make them see that it's okay to be a part of this generation. Representing women in sports is really good. And like I said, I still have a few more years in me, and if that's, if I can inspire a girl every day I step out on that field, I'm really, really happy with that, because obviously after us, I still want to see women's cricket or women's sport in general continue in that path and continue to be massive.
When this tournament ends, what do you want people to say about Chinelle Henry?
That I'm strong and resilient, and despite whatever is happening back home, I was able to come here, show up, show out, and have a wonderful WBBL.